let's see what happens. You've been here before. You know how it goes, right? And you need a refresher on anything, or are we all
No,
good?
you're going to introduce yourselves, and I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to do the thing.
All right. See, look, a professional.
Hell
I'm a
yeah, we
quick
are.
study. What can I say?
Hi, welcome to
At
another
least
episode
one of
of
us
Mysteries.
is. I'm lagging, but my name is sometimes Alex,
You are
mostly Alex.
lagging. Oh,
And my name is Wren, and my pronouns are they, them.
hey. We're here to talk about Zines and games and things like that. In
Zines?
particular, the ones zines.
Zines,
They are
Adrian?
zines. I'm a guy who reads them as they are and forgets how they're said unless told otherwise. My bad. Zines. I'm upset with the spelling now. Anyways, yeah. Um, I want to talk about the first one that is there. Where is it? Gender, Gingerbread Horizon.
Yeah, so let me kind of like
Yeah,
do a
yeah, yeah.
little bit of background here. So, hi, my name's Ren. I'm back. I am your Chaos NB TTRPG LARP nerd that made you all feel feelings about how your life is a LARP last time I was here. So this time we're talking about the only way I am managing my emotions while the world has been on fire, which is making stuff. So I started an LGBTQIA organization at work, which of course, with everything that's going on, is making me feel a lot of feelings, especially because I was afraid, because of what's happening in the United States right now, that it would immediately go away. So in early February, went to a work trip, and on the third day of this work trip, I was going to have the first queer breakfast for me and all of my peers at work. And I could not sleep that night. I was up at 1:45 in the morning making voice memos in the dark in my hotel room because my plan of just like sitting down and introducing everyone and just having breakfast didn't feel like it was enough. So the first zine I ever made, which is Share Your Light, it's a community zine that I made, which is still available for free online. And literally, it is just here is the premise of the event that I ran. Here is how you run it if you want to run something like this for your community. And that's available on itch.io. Pay what you want, and it will always, because it's a community resource, it's just gonna remain free because that's what it was made for. Then after I made the first one, I was like, oh, this is fucking easy. Because I'm using Electric Zine Maker, which if you don't know is freeware zine maker, where
Mm.
you literally pick a zine format and you can just make it. It's super simple. And so now, whenever I feel really bad feelings, I just make a fucking zine about it. And that's kind of how all this happened, I suppose.
Have you been able to, uh, for every bad feeling, make a zine, or is it just like, okay, well, I've made it now? Does it feel right to kind of publish it, or does it feel good enough to publish it? Like, how does that kind of I guess your flow of work? If you have to make this particular kind of art, you have to be in a bad state of mind.
So I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine who actually introduced me to zines. Her name is Jax. Her name is Ruffle Jax. You can follow her. She is a queer TTRPG and LARP designer who is incredibly prolific. If you remember Vampire the Masquerade, I think it was 5th edition, the beginning of the book, the safety rules that said Nazis can go pound salt, that was her. She wrote that.
Hell yeah.
She introduced me to zines, and we actually, after I started doing it, we actually had this conversation, and the things that we love about zines, and like the things that kind of came up in those discussions between her and I are the best thing about zines is zines are designed by their very nature to be imperfect. So it's not like, is this good enough to be published? It is, I have made it. I am going to release it. I am freed from like my own obsession with things needing to be exactly right and be a certain way and feel a certain way. For me, I can just kind of put my feelings and my thoughts in there and make it happen. And actually, Gender Bent Horizon is a great example of it. So, when I was at the same work trip, I am that queer because I started the LGBTQIA organization at work. I am the queer at work that everyone knows. And so I'm the one who gets all the questions. So someone at work asked me what it was like being non-binary. And while I don't know what he expected, I do know the response he got. I kind of gave him an existential crisis. Because I asked him the simple question of, well, tell me what makes you feel like a man. And there was this moment of, I could see the world under him open and just swallow him. Because he just did not know how to grapple with that thought. So then I went to talk about like all the things that made me feel non-binary. And the reason for the name is that the event horizon in a black hole is the point where light, the speed at which you would need to travel in order to escape its gravitational pull is faster than light. So it is the point of no return. And so for me, when I realized that there was a name for the way that I felt like I was caught. I felt like I was beyond the point of any return. And even though I was caught, it was one of the first times I really felt free. And so, like, these are things that, like, normally would just enter my head and I wouldn't be able to hold on to those thoughts and feelings. But now, like, I can print it in a little book that's about that big and I can keep it right here. And I just have those thoughts. And then, like, if sharing those thoughts helps someone else or helps someone else encapsulate their own experience, they can have a copy. And all the ones that I keep on Itch, I release them as like full page PDF version, so you can just scroll through them. And also the printable cut zine version. So if you want to print them out and turn them into a little booklet, you can. So that people can, because I know people have their own zine libraries and things like that. And so it's all out there. It's just something that they can have. If this experience, this little thought that I had matters to them, they can keep it. Or they can throw it away. That's the fun thing about it. It's art that is designed to be imperfect and designed to be whatever you want it to be.
Ever since I've learned about zine, and not recently how to properly say it, was just like how to resist. And I just thought I always saw people making them on some like TikTok, Instagram, something, and I'm like, this is just like resistance in your pocket kind of thing. And I think that is so cool. And I've always thought like, what is a good resource to the everyday? And I felt like thinking about it, I was like, does it have to be broad enough? Does it, I mean, if it's too broad, is it just not make sense? And I just kind of like circle myself with doubt and questions that I never really act on anything. Well, that's just life for me. Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Like, I think for me, like, I struggle with that with the bigger pieces of art that I make. And so, like, I will take this thing and I will obsess. And I'll be like, well, how is this mechanic going to work? Is this mechanic going to read the way that I want it to? Is it going to drive the rest of the game with the emotions that I want it to? If I'm going to write something, it has to be perfect. It has to be worded correctly. And so I have a novel I've been working on for 20 years almost now. And that shit's never going to get done because I'm just going to keep doing this to it. But I've made 6 zines in the last 2 weeks. More than that, actually, because the zine game I'm making is already 3 zines long. So that's its own thing. But like, that's the thing is like, once I started realizing that like I really like this, I'm like, well, I like making games, and I had this silly, stupid idea. I was like, no, zines are supposed to be silly and stupid. That's perfect. Just fucking make zines until the game's done. And so now I'm just kind of working on that. But that's punctuated between like, I am having an emotional thing, and guess I got a zine about it.
But I think that's a really interesting idea because zines are inherently like the most punk thing that you can be doing. Because right, they're the same idea as like the broadsheets in the American Revolution. So like, if anything, you are doing the most American thing right now by publishing zines, especially like in our historical moment right now, right? And so that's really rad. But I think the other interesting thing is that there's that you're right, that freedom of getting to just do it, and it doesn't have to be correct, and like that inherent part of the zine, I think is opening, I guess, your brain up into just being like, all right, cool. It's like half done, or it's like all done as it's going to be. Let me just send my baby out into the world. Whereas you're sort of like George R.R. Martining your book and saying, oh, it needs to be finished before I send it out. But like, that's not punk at all.
No, it's really not. You're absolutely right. And I think that like one of the other things about zines, which I think is fun in the modern day is like, so I made a zine the other day. Some friends are going to be running a fairy market at the local queer bookstore. And they're like, well, you can split tables. And I know they're going to have a table. So I was like, should I sell my zines there? And so like I had this idea for a silly Fae base. It's called Is It a Trap Set by Fae? And it's a guessing game where you read a scenario and you decide whether it's a trap set by Fae or not. So I made it and I was like, is this exactly the way I want it to be? Because if I put it on itch, here's the thing. You can always go back and update it and then email anyone who downloaded or purchased it and be like, oh, hey, there's a new version. Go get it. And so, like, if I decide I want to work on it more, I can. I don't have to. In past tense, the way that works is, like, there's a local, right downtown, I live in a small rural area. There's a store that has like a little, like, basically an inbox where you slip zines and like take one, leave one kind of thing. And so like, if you leave the first one, you're like, nah, I can do it better. Just make another one, go back and put it in there. Who's going to know?
I need that mentality.
You know what? You're right, Adrian.
So
that might be where you start. Just like a little one sheet, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that you put it all out, and you fold it out, and they're really cool. Like you can fold them up, and then they become this little like book. So they look really well done. But once again, they're punk, so they don't have to be well done.
And here's the thing, like that why I like Electric Zine Maker so much is that it does all the formatting for you. So like I sent you folks, I sent my friends here versions of this so that they could take a look at them. But like the first one is the PDF. The second one, you just cut it on the dotted line, you fold it, and you have a booklet. And so like it does all that work for you. But Adrian, you could write a zine about how you struggle with your creative process, and that could be its own zine. Just that. Right there. That's it. Mm-hmm. And that's a relatable zine that you could write from your own experience, which makes it better because then you're relating to other people in a way that a lot of people will find very relatable. And it can be just that simple.
I'm trying to properly process this idea, but there's thoughts and forces in my mind that are just like, it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. Just like fighting. So I feel like this weird null effect where it's like head is all of a sudden empty, and I'm just like, where the fuck did the words go? What the heck?
How about you download Electric Zine Maker and you prove me wrong. You try to make one and tell me how difficult it is. How about that?
I'm working. I don't want to prove you wrong. I want to make you proud.
That's the thing. I don't think you'll be able to prove me wrong. I think you'll try it and be like, oh damn, Wren's right.
Oh, so they have a little fish.
I think
It's very cute.
I'm the
It
one
is.
that is like, if you can't do that, I'd be like, I'm gonna fucking show you. I'm gonna fucking show
I don't
you.
like that mentality.
I-
My brain.
There's so
I
many
don't know.
things-
Not for like anybody else. It's just that for me, I can't do that. I just if it just.
It's okay. It's okay. The my loved ones know when to use that. My loved ones know when to tell me I can't do something, in which case I will double down and then go and do, right? My dad said that about running half marathons. He was like, you can't do that. You've never run in your life. And I said, bet. And I did it. But the same, we just need to find what triggers you, Adrian.
I also ascribe to the bet mentality. I once came home. I was coming back from a LARP event, and the end of the LARP event was the same day as Friendsgiving. So I was going to come home, put my shit away, and go have dinner with my friends at my house. So I get there, and my wife is very funny. So they finish dinner. They're like, shit, Wren's going to be here in like 5 minutes. Everyone put everything away. And so it was potato miss. So everyone had to bring a potato dish to pass because we didn't know what else to do. So the only things that were out were bags of potato chips and a single raw potato that had my name on it. And so like I'm like laughing because it's very funny. And I went to go to the fridge to look. And then a decision was made. A friend of mine's new boyfriend, who did not know me that well at the time, got up and he grabbed the potato and he walked over and said, no, this is all you get. I grabbed it. I made direct eye contact and I took a huge bite out of it like it was a fucking apple. And he just immediately like turns around and cringes and just heads towards the living room. And I'm walking right on his heels with potato in my mouth going, no, you see what you did in front of everyone. So I am right there with you.
Yeah, nothing is a joke. We just everything is serious. we are going in. Oh, is this how you want to play? Then let's play your silly little game. Oh, you don't like the game you made? That's not on me. I'm just accommodating you.
I'm yes-anding. That's all.
If anything, Adrian, we could take the next 40 minutes and we could handhold you and you could build your own zine right here, right now.
Not my podcast, not my show, not my job. I love that idea.
I mean, in all
Okay,
honesty,
great. What's our zine about?
The existential dread of perfectionism.
Ooh.
I can screen share. Wait, hold up. I'm going to fire up Electric Zine Maker right now.
Stunning.
Okay.
And we will do this right now live. As we go, I'm going to describe what happens because this is not a visual media. So I have a little executable that I'm going to fire up for Electric Zine Maker. And so this is the UI for Electric Zine Maker. For those of you, again, if you're interested in doing zines, I suggest you download it. It's freeware. But it is like a space thing with like stars and hearts, and there's funny enough, a potato in the lower right-hand corner. And you can choose all your different types of zines, and there's all sorts of different versions and things that you can get into. Mini booklets, micro booklets, 16 pages. We're going to go with the classic 8-page folded zine. Super easy.
So cute. Oh my gosh.
So we're going to call it Adrian's First Zine. Okay. So.
Oh my God. This makes me feel like I'm in like early 2000s again. Like putting together a doll maker in some form or fashion. I'm obsessed.
So I'm going to pick the same font that I tend to use because it's very easily readable. I've had friends of mine who are dyslexic who are like, this is perfect for my dyslexia. So, like, I stick with it. So, the zine is about existential dread of perfectionism, right? Mm-hmm. How about perfection, existential dread, and you?
I feel like it's pointed, and it makes me upset. And because this is pointed, and that's the point.
Well, okay, but I'm not
Right?
talking about you. I'm talking about the reader you, but also, yes, specifically you.
Yeah.
It's not just you. It's all of us in you.
It's the capital
It's not
U.
just you, it's also you and you and you and you.
Here you go. By Adrian via Wrenound.
Nice.
And so you just hit save and return, and bam, there's our first page. It's already done. That's it. Time us. That took no time at all, and that's it.
So the inside front, Adrian.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to, yeah.
And so, like,
Oh, I like that it's already laid out. That makes me happy.
yeah. And so, like, you get to see what you've done as you go along. Are you already feeling it?
I like the part where there's only, what, 9? 8, sorry, I can't count. 7? 7 more spots.
And that's it.
Which feels doable versus my first, mental scape of, like, 1 to infinity, the unknown of what it is.
I like that. The unknown of what it is.
Ooh.
It's scary. It's like, what does perfection supposed to be like? And if I put text to canvas, to paint a canvas, whatever that saying is, I'm eternally stuck with that. And technically that's not true.
Oh, I'm not going to worry about spell check. We'll do that later.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm just thinking.
That's the point.
It's permanently changed. But it fills me with worry because I know it can do better. Because we're eternally growing. And I think I have to be okay with, like, not being perfect now, because I don't think I'll ever be perfect.
Okay.
And I think that I guess, what's it called? What's the opposite of each other? The hypocrisy of those two ideas of it has to be perfect and knowing I am imperfect clashes with each other to a debilitating what's it called? A debilitating force. I mean, that's what kind of stops me from creating. Like,
Give me that again. What stops you from creating?
the hypocrisy of the idea of I need it to be perfect, and I'll never be perfect, clashing into, like, a sum zero effect of me not doing anything, just paralyzing me.
Oh, this is good shit.
This is so good.
Like, no, you're laughing. I am fucking floored. This is what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Let's up the no. Let's go to 35. 35 is good for that. Bam.
I like
Done.
you're able to
Next.
just move it around and format it properly.
It's this is what I'm saying. The first time I did it, I was like, God, this is so fucking easy. I can do this.
And I still love the background,
Oh, right. This is what I wanted to do because I really like. See, what I really, one of the other things I really like about zines is, like, the ability to use
the folding over the page to kind of that's the next idea kind of popping is so good.
and it also adds that gravity behind those words because zines are such a small format. When it is just something very poignant by, like, after saying the hypocrisy behind the idea that I need to be perfect and I'll never be perfect, clashing into a sum zero effect of me being unable to do anything. And the next page only saying it paralyzes me. That has so much gravity to it.
Yeah. Doing this is I don't know why it's scary, and like it wells so much emotion in me. Like there's only two more pages and I want to cry, and I don't know why.
I mean, I think it's the actual, like, seeing your words on a page, right?
Yeah.
The thoughts that you've been feeling and you've been struggling with this idea, it is the actual action of seeing what you're thinking in a tangible form. That's going to be a difference, because it's no longer it's there, right? It's out of your brain and onto a page. And
it's the action that I've never been able to do being done through, like, I guess this is technically like community
yeah.
and just friends.
Oh. Ugh.
And I guess not to kind of like I mean I can do whatever I want. Like that is kind of the point of kind of like the debilitating of the time we're in. It's okay that you can't do it on your own, because there are going to be some people out there that'll be there to push you, to help you. And that is so important.
Can you folks do me a favor?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you have like a link tree or something like that?
Yes.
Get me the what is it?
You're talking about the QR code,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Kick that out to me.
Gotcha, we'll do. Linktree.
So what I'm gonna do is kick that out to me, and then this is so at the end of every zine that I make, I do a little message. Usually for the reader, this one's for you.
There it is. There it is. It's downloaded. Send it to Wren.
And that's it. I'm going to save this. I'm going to import it. And then literally that's it.
Dungeon has an E on it.
Not this time.
Beautiful.
I'm kidding. I am going to erase that. But and watch this. You want to see how easy importing an image is? Bam. Done. And then I just got to find it. Should be. That's mine. That's not yours. That's not helpful. Shit. Where'd it go? Oh, no. I mean, shit. Why not? We'll just fucking throw it.
I'm fine with that.
Just shrink it a little bit. But yeah, no, that's literally the whole thing. You did it. That's it. How does that feel? Now I'm interviewing you. How did that feel?
Yeah. It feels good, and I don't. In what's it called? Part of me, I don't know. Okay, and this is just like the demon inside me, just saying, I don't deserve it. I don't know why. There's just something inside that says I don't deserve it, even though I mean I don't. This was like, I want to say less than 10 minutes. We did this, right?
That's it. That's the whole thing. And now it's saved. And so, and now look, you can't stop me. It's already exported as a PDF and in zine format. It's done. It's over.
Uh-huh.
That's it. You can't stop me. You're not the cops can't stop you from making zines. They can't. It's not illegal. But no, literally that's it. You did it.
Yeah.
And now you can take this thing that you made. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, and I want to make it clear. You made this.
Right.
You did this. I wrote some words, and that's it. You did this. This is all your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions that have made a zine that encapsulates the way that you feel and how this process has been important to you that might help someone else. And that's the thing. Like, zines are a community thing.
Right.
There are whole communities of people that make these things, and the whole idea behind making them is you make them to share them. That's why they're so fucking easy. Like, literally, if you wanted to print this out, it's in black and white. All you need to do is a printer. You print it out. You take a stapler. You bind the end. You cut one cut, 2 staples, and you're done.
Right.
And you could do that 100 times and leave them in libraries. Leave them in, I don't know, bookstores. Leave them, I don't know, in like a waiting room of a racist lawyer that you know. Like any place that would be particularly good to reach a community that might need to hear it, or to piss off the bigots that might find it. It is, as with all art, its own form of resistance.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, without my community of people, I would not have known about zines to start making them.
Right.
And in making them, I've already helped you to get something very important out of your heart and onto page. And so, really, that has made every tiny bit of effort I've ever done worth it in this, because I'm already helping someone.
Right. Emotions flowing through me.
Do you just invite me here to mindfuck you about things? Is that my job? Because last time
You just are that. Listen, I already told you why I want it. Is like, oh, I think this is important, and I guess I'm like, I don't know who, but I feel like it's important, and I guess that who was me. Like, I guess
the who is also you.
the who, yeah.
And that's the thing, like, when we find something it's easy to say something is important. It's hard when someone asks you why it's important, because then there's a level of vulnerability there that opens up.
Right. Yeah. It's my mind. It doesn't know where to go at this point. Wants to attempt to get back on track, whatever that means. But
no, this is already on track. This is the thing. You want to talk about zines and why zines matter, and so, like, to your audience, this is one, how simple it is to make something that can help you to feel better, and to help you share the way that you think and feel with other people, which is dope. And 2, like, you've been able to experience it, and if you'd like something to distract from what just happened, I can talk to you about the zine game I'm working on, because it's ridiculous and will probably make you feel better.
Oh, I do want to touch upon the where the heck did it go? Your discussion within the zine about gender and how it made you feel, and I have like a similar idea of it. So it kind of, I felt like, okay, yeah, I'm glad it's not like. Well, I knew it wasn't going to be like black and white, how the society has tried to push it over and over. There's something more nuanced to what we do and how we describe ourselves that, these boilerplates aren't actually working. So, like, that's why my pronouns are he and he. Like, he because I know for a fact that's what I'm going to be gendered as, and that's fine. I also say anything because as long as you address me with respect, I will not be upset by anything you call me. And that's how that's how I've told many others. And I think that's okay. I think that, like, I've been called, kind of like, I guess, emotional, which like they're saying is a girl trait. And I'm like, okay, well, what if I am a girl and and that's what it is? Or and then I have some like manly things. And what if I'm a guy? But what if I'm just nothing and I'm just Adrian and if as long as you respect me and you don't have to remember my name, as long as you address me respectfully, I will be
Yeah.
fine.
I think that's interesting that you say that too, because as the somewhat girl representative on this chat, sort of girl sometimes, saying that it is to be emotional, is to be feminine. However, when you are emotional, then it turns into hysteria, right? There's not a middle ground in the experiences of emotions. It's either you have emotions and then you're hysterical, or you have no emotionals and you're a man, right? So where do those emotions actually live? And I think to just put that binary on that does everybody a disservice. That the binary then becomes yes or no.
Are you familiar with the band The Warriors by any chance?
Only the movie.
So there is a song by them that is honestly very important to me. It's called They, Them, Theirs. And some of the lyrics are, you are fighting between a rock and why bother? We're floating between two ends that don't matter. And I think that is really important because, like, I talk a lot of, like, I try not to talk about my pronouns and my gender all the time at work because I have work to do. But it does come up a lot. And one of the capstones I try to put on all those conversations is that my pronouns are probably the least interesting thing about me as a person. And the song is about, like, wishing there was not a need for all of this discussion about it. The song opens with, you've got a word for one, so there's a word for all. The smallest things have become, which side are you on? What if I don't want something that applies to me? What if there's no better word than just not saying anything? And, like, that's the thing. And I think that one of the things I also talk to my team, especially because, like, it's a lot of cis het people. And I say that I could meet somebody who would use my pronouns 100% correctly, who treated me like shit, or a person who got my pronouns done correctly once every 10 times, but they treated me with nothing but love and respect. And I would spend time with the second person more than the former one, because who I am is not, like, my pronouns are an important representation of who I am. They are a part of me, like breathing. But if you're a shithead, I don't give a fuck if you get my pronouns right. I don't. And I think that sounds like that's a lot of kind of like where you're coming from too, is that, like, you don't necessarily care what pronouns they use for you. And it might be, you could be a gender. And not as in a specific gender, but having no gender. But, like, that could be a thing for you, and that's dope, and that's amazing. Or it might not, or maybe you just don't know yet, and that's also dope, because that, like, that journey to figure out who you are, as scary as that is to undertake right now, is a beautiful fucking thing. Yeah. Any form of self-exploration is a scary and dangerous and beautiful thing. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what makes you comfortable. I think that's what matters.
Yes.
I was literally just having a conversation with somebody because they had been called out on not using a NPC's pronouns correctly. But instead, throughout their play, they switched from using because they realized they couldn't get the pronouns correct, and then they switched to just using the name. And then felt really hurt when rightfully so, that they were approached and said, hey, like, I saw that you had a problem. Like, can we talk about that? And like, I think, especially for a lot of us in the TTRPG space, that we all have a level of neurodivergency, and it's very difficult and I could understand, like, an NPC is, especially in a one shot, is like a just an entity that exists in the space, and like there's a difference between an NPC and an actual person sitting in front of you, right? To get the pronoun correct or not. But I also think sometimes there is a disservice we do to one another, where the focus is on, like Wren was saying, I need to get the pronouns right all the time. But if you're so focused on that and you're losing that interpersonal connection, what is the point? If I am a generally good person and I am doing my best and we are having a conversation and building up that trust in those relationships, then why do we completely forego the understanding that humans are are valuable creatures? And like, where is that, once again, where's the middle ground? Yes or no? Yes, binary. Yes, no, gender. Why?
I think it is. I think it has a lot to do with vulnerability again, because like, in order to be able to trust that someone is respectful of you when you don't know them that well, you have to actually trust that they have positive intent, which right now is fucking terrifying and also often dangerous.
Yeah.
And so I think that I think it's very difficult for a lot of people, and especially for people who the wrong pronouns are used for them a lot. I actually noticed when I was traveling, I had to travel under my dead name, and so I was getting dead name. And I swear to God, if one more person calls me sir, I will just fucking swallow them whole like a snake. But like, if people are struggling with that a lot, when they hear that, they just immediately, they see that as a risk for them. And that's why there's that reaction. And there's no good solution to that, except to, if you sit down with that person, like, hey, yeah, this is something I'm struggling with, I'm working on it, and like, show that vulnerability back, like, hey, yeah, this was, I did fuck that up, and you know what, that's on me, and take that little bit of accountability could probably go a long way. But like, I do think that a lot of it comes down to trust and vulnerability, both of which are kind of in short supply right now.
I think putting it in that terms, like, okay, then yes, I could see the hardened side, but then that I mourn, right? Like that sometimes makes me think about the beginning of COVID, right? Where we were all in this together. We were all working on this one project as a society, frustrated that people were not quite doing it as well as others. But I think remembering, right, that even in our spaces, that even though it is hard, that part of it, that understanding, that kindness, you know, even after the fact, I don't, it's hard. Fuck being a human right now. I want to be a snail.
It is hard. And that's why I think things like community matter. And that's why I think things like creating and sharing and those little pieces of vulnerability matter so much right now. Creating in time where people are actively trying to destroy us. I just woke up one day and found out that the federal government doesn't consider me real, which was dope. And then I found out that they're trying to lock up, as a Hispanic person, people like me in fucking Guantanamo Bay one morning. And like, community matters so much right now, more than any other time. And I think where we can offer each other an olive branch of vulnerability matters. I also think it's important, if someone is lacking in that we also hold space for them to understand that they might not be there. And that's also okay. One of the things I keep telling people right now is the best that each of us can do right now is enough, because it has to be. It has to be good enough because we don't have anything else right now. Mm-hmm. We only have the best each of us can do. And to a degree, we kind of just need to do everything we can to do our best and to meet people at their best, the best we can.
Yeah. I agree with that entirely. Because it sucks. I mean, but then you have to give somebody the benefit of the doubt that in their moment they're going to grow. And then maybe they won't. But, like, that's how the fascists win. That's how that grows, right? If we are not connected, even if you don't like them, if we are broken up and we are torn apart, that's how the people who are in power continue to be in power. Because then there's infighting with the class that is at the bottom, and then they can do whatever they want. And then they're stupid enough to think that Do You Hear the People Sing is about you and not about the people. I'm so sorry, Adrian. This once again turned into a musical podcast, but
as per it does, it's fine. We'll make a new thing. It's Dungeons and Musicals instead of degrees.
It's a media literacy podcast. All right.
Look, bards are in dungeons. It's fine. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's all covered.
That was inspirational seeing that this week, though. Honestly, frustrating that. Okay, so Adrian, sorry.
Yes, thank you.
At
Please loop me into what this thing you just referenced is.
At the governor's ball this week, as of time of recording.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes. The song is from Les Mis, right? Mm-hmm. It's the reprise. It's at the very end. You saw all of the pictures when the movie came out of them, like, with the barricade, and they're all. It's during the French Revolution. So first of all, if you know anything about history, the people in power during that time didn't fare so well. But much like the French Revolution, they thought it was all about them. So, the army choir sang it at the event. And that's not about them. That is about people uprising.
It's moments like that. It's the same thing when people are like. For me, it's the same energy as telling Tom Morello to shut up, and that why is Rage Against the Machine. Wait, they're actually woke? It's like media literacy and also irony is fucking dead. And I don't know. Like, it's wild. But yeah, making shit is dope. Making weird things is better. Making little things that are deeply personal, if you can manage it, is great. I wrote a zine about family trauma. In the itch.io, it says that that's what it is, so that people don't just wander into my family trauma. But, like, yeah. I also wrote a zine about if you need permission to take care of yourself, this zine is for you, and it's all about how you need to take care of yourself. Like, it can be literally about anything. But if you want to make them and you don't feel comfortable posting them online, but like you have a library card, you can print one out and don't put your name on it and slip it between two books in a library and share a little piece of yourself with the world. And you might not ever know what comes of it, but if that makes you feel better right now, do that thing. Like, do the weird thing. Do the small things that give you joy. If you can't think of a weird thing to give you joy, try something. I never thought in a million years I would be sitting here making zines whenever I was upset. But here I am, and it's working for me. And so if you don't know what else to do, try something you don't expect. It can be small. It doesn't have to be a big, expensive thing. It can be something weird. It doesn't matter. Art's supposed to be weird. The best art is always weird.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no. Doing the things that make us happy is part of resistance, because everything they try to take from us, which is time and resources, repurposing it for the things that we want is resistance.
I know this has been a lot for you, bud.
Oh man, dude, it's been a day. It's been a day. It's okay. I woke up thinking I needed to hurry up and finish some stuff up, to realize that I already had one episode in the bank, and I'm like, oh, I'm ahead, which is a foreign feeling for me. So that in itself is showing some sort of growth with me, and that's it shouldn't scare me, but it does. It's like, okay, what's next? How am I going to try to, well, probably remember my medication.
Medication reminder, everyone at home, please take your medication.
Hey, dear listener, actually just take a drink of water.
Yeah.
Go.
That too.
Take a big swig of water.
I drank mine already.
Yeah, I'm really thirsty because it's not around me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's important. I think it's great.
So I will say that if you are interested, I am working on a really silly, stupid game called Bodega Mages. It's a game about magic, snacks, and cute cats. Have you seen Kung Fu? What is it, Kung Fu Hustle?
Yes.
It's like if Kung Fu Hustle meets Mage. You are just going in a bodega to grab like a Snapple and a bag of chips, and you see a weird magazine, and you buy it and you read it, and suddenly you can cast magic, and your life changes in that moment. That is what this game is. So I am actively working on it. It is going to just be made in a series of 8-page zines. Mm-hmm. So like the core rule book will be one. The character creation will be one. Each different type of magic is going to be its own weird zine, where the inside the cover instructions is, hey, this is for this type of magic. Draw what the cover looks like, to kind of draw you into the creation aspect. So it's going to be stupid and weird. And if you like that sort of thing, follow me on Itch, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be in the thing down here. Or wherever. I don't know where it is for you. Sorry, it's multimedia. I don't know how to. I don't know where anything is.
I'm renowned on most social medias, and I mean WRENOUND. Not that I'm well known. I'm still pretty much nobody, but we'll get there.
Oh, we'll get there.
How dare you? How dare you talk about my friend like that?
But I'm just being honest.
No.
Just being honest.
No. Not in this economy.
You're not being honest in this economy?
No.
You know what? I could get with that.
You know what? No.
Actually, bank, I have $1 million.
You are incorrect. I need more zeros, please.
But I will say, since we're getting to the end of it, I do appreciate y'all having me. This is always fun. You both are awesome. And I'm happy to come back and blow your mind with whatever crazy weird shit I'm up to. Whenever.
The Fates will send a some sort of message, tweet, blue ski. I don't know what they call them.
Skeets, which is hilarious if you're into early 2000s hip hop. It's hilarious.
I saw that and I'm like, this got to be an inside joke. This can't be real.
Oh, it's real. It's real because they don't know what skeet means. Then again, neither did the censors in the early 2000s, which is the funny part.
You know what, though? Lady Gaga got away with saying fuck on the radio, so nobody knew what they were doing.
Crystal meth will pick you up until you break. That is an actual lyric from another song that made it through, so...
See?
Thank you, Third Eye Blind.
Skeet, motherfucker.
Oh, skeet, goddamn.
God damn.
I feel like there needs to be a church where that is like, Like,
the call and response.
yes.
Unto you.
Oh, skeet, motherfuckers in the entire choir. Oh, skeet, goddamn.
I mean, I think that's a perfect, like, post-apocalyptic where, like, they only find this as the only song available on a CD. So it's considered text and dogma.
Oh my god. Okay. So if you're into that sort of stuff, there's a game called Harsh Generation. By CLB Games. It's a game that I helped kickstart way back in the day, and it takes place in post-apocalyptic Philadelphia. And there's an entire cult called the I think it's called the Order of Grit, and it's about a group of people that found gritty paraphernalia and worship it like it's a god. That game is full of that stuff. It's made by a friend of mine, Emily, and she is an amazing creator. Check that out. It's good stuff.
Hell yeah. All right. Wren, where can they find you? I think you already said it, but
Yeah,
I want to ask one more time.
Sure. I am WRENOUND, Renowned on all social medias that matter. Don't look for me on Twitter, because fuck that. It can be found on Dinner and a Game right now every Saturday starting at 8 o'clock Eastern. I run a Monster of the Week campaign that is coming to an end over the next couple of weeks called Art of Resistance. It is about art, creativity, community, and standing together against all odds, which is incredibly poignant right now. I will be up to other TTRPG stuff soon, so follow me on socials, and I'll see you there.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast, so be sure to rate, subscribe, tell your enemies to lovers, you know what, just tell Lil Wayne and all of the East Side Boys about our podcast. You can also find us on all the social medias at Dungeon and Degrees. Reach out, talk to us. We'll sometimes talk back. Adrian's probably the better one that will talk back. I would do my best. And then you can help support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Dungeon and Degree.
Check out my zine.
Check out Adrian's zine.
You know what it's about. Now go look at it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I was Wren. Am Wren? Still
Wren.
Wren? I'm Wren.
Renowned. Go have some fun.